Ready? Let's go.
Let it all out, we gon' let it out. With phones in the way. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. With phones in the way.
What's up, everybody? I'm Apryl Jones. This is my co-host, Melissa, and we are sponsored by Fashion Nova, who I love. I love them. Right now, you see me wearing this vibey green top, and Melissa is wearing this beautiful floral top. And I'm wearing the jeans by them. They're like, you can't see because I'm not standing up, but they're like boho jeans, very comfortable. They have a good stretch. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to cross my legs. So I just want to show love to Fashion Nova. Guys, go shop fashionnova.com. I also want to share with you guys today that we're super excited because we have someone that we adore and who is a relationship coach. And she's actually helping me and Melissa in our relationships currently. Please, guys, welcome Danai. Hi. So I want to start off first by asking you, how are you? Because I recently did a podcast with Tony Rock, and you know, he said when he first started the interview, people don't ask enough.
It's true.
So let's start off by asking, how are you? How are you feeling?
I am so well, and I'm so excited about being here today with you and Melissa. So thank you so much for having me.
Good.
And that was very polite. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And you're teaching me too.
I know, warm, loving, feminine, all those wonderful things.
Yes. Okay. So me and Melissa were in the gym recently this week, and I was speaking to her about gender roles and, you know, me at this point and place in my life where I want to sit in my feminine, and, you know, guys that I've dated before who I expect to be more masculine. Mm-hmm. What are your takes first on the gender roles when it pertains to femininity and masculinity? So
it's a great question, and it's one of my favorites. There's a lot of kind of discourse in the social media realm, for instance, right now. You know, these are super hot topics right now. And the first thing I'd like to say is that a lot of people are using the titles of masculinity and femininity like to pelt people with them, and they're weaponizing the terms, but they're actually very positive terms and there's nothing negative about them. So that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would say is that if you can understand, if you are a feminine woman and you want to be loved properly as a feminine woman and you want to date as a feminine woman, and you want to attract a healthy masculine man, then it's really, really important to learn all the characteristics of what it is to be feminine. And most of us have not been taught these things because oftentimes we weren't with parents who were modeling all of this. Like some girls got that and they were super, you know, blessed, happy, fortunate to have a feminine mother who was being, you know, cherished and adored by a healthy masculine father who she respected and admired and really looked up to. And that's what it's supposed to look like. But for those of us who weren't, you know, blessed enough to be able to be raised in that so we can model that and we, you know, it would just be second nature, we learn. And I love to teach. So yeah, that's my take. The more you understand, the better you'll get along with the opposite sex.
I remember when we had our meeting and you were speaking to me about like just getting to know me, and you had asked me about like how I was raised, and I remember you saying, well, was your mom with someone, or and I remember telling you like, no, my mom, you know, had to have my grandmother raise me, and then my grandmother ended up taking over, and you were like, okay, so basically masculine energy, right? And so I feel like, and it's like you don't really, like, at least for me, I never really understood that until like getting into these relationships. And it's like, I feel like I know how to be submissive. And now I'm in the healthiest relationship that I've ever been in, and it's teaching me a lot. And I'm realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm not as feminine as I
None of us. Yes.
Okay, so please deny, please.
Okay. for clarity.
Because this is the I'm going to speak for myself, but
Go
I know
for
my
it.
girl, and she's like this too. From the outside looking in, we are very independent people.
So am I.
By force.
Yes.
And then also by habit now, right?
Yes.
We were forced into a position where we had no choice but to be independent.
Yes.
And that makes us, like when you take on the roles of what a man should be doing, if it's protecting, if it's providing,
100%.
if it's being brave, all of those things that you would expect a man to do
Yes.
when the men around us don't step up to be that.
Yes.
And we're in unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
We take on that role.
That is the best thing you could ever say.
Now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The good men
Yes.
that want to be masculine and are masculine.
And you don't know how to show up. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, that is the most perfect setup. That is what typically happens. First of all, and that's why I said the weaponizing of it with the war between the sexes, don't do that. It's not cool. Because most masculine women carry on those character traits because of the way that they were raised, or because there were men in their lives who didn't show up in strong masculine covering, providing, protecting energy, taking care of her, making sure that she was good, etc. And so she made sure she was good on her own. That's where the independence comes in. So if you're not going to take care of me, I'm going to take care of me. And next thing you know, you got all these women who are taking care of themselves, and we don't realize until we get with a healthy masculine man, that's not going to work. Because the reality of that is, if I protect me, he's not going to. Yeah. If I take care of me, he's not going to. And it happens so subtly, even from the first couple of dates. My mentor loves to say equality dulls romance, and I agree with that. Okay. Equality dulls romance.
Like basically you can't be...
Yes, you can't be too equal. In romance, you can be equal everywhere else. You can be equal in business. You can be equal in friendship.
Yeah.
You can be equal. Yes.
What we were talking
so
about.
you can be equal everywhere else. But in romance, feminism screwed us up in certain ways. In certain ways, it was great. It was great in business for equity. It was great for us, to be able to get equal pay. It was great for us to get, the same pay for the same job, or to be, to go up the ladder at the same time. However, there is something about a healthy masculine man and a healthy feminine woman where the dance that they do is absolutely affected by whether or not they're operating in that strong masculine or that strong feminine. And so it affects the way that they get along. They're either going to get along, like if you are a masculine and you are with a feminine, the more masculine he is, the more feminine you have to show up in order for you to be his natural opposite counterpart.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and
that's about attraction.
Well, so basically
that's about attraction.
She asked me initially, asked us, first, how do you want to be loved? Do you want to be cherished, or do you want to be respected? And so she was able to kind of determine that. Break it down, Danai.
So the respected partner is the masculine, the cherished partner is the feminine. And so if you have two feminines together, they are not a match, because feminine women are passive, patient, and vulnerable. And so what will happen is both parties will sit back in passive energy, and the relationship is never going to get, it's never going to move forward. Nothing gets done. No one's assertive. No one's making decisions. No one's leading. They're both following, but they're waiting for a leader. If you have two masculines, it's the opposite. They are going to challenge each other, because masculinity is, there you go, competitive, conquering, controlling. They're both going to try to control each other, conquer each other. They're going to battle for leadership. They're going to battle for their ideas. And so the respected person is the masculine. The cherished person is the feminine. The masculine, what you respect in that is the thinking. The feminine, what you cherish in them is the feeling. And so if you are a heart-centered person, and that's what makes you feel loved, then you are feminine. If you feel loved when you are doing and thinking and having your ideas be respected and having someone follow your leadership, then you are masculine. And that's what makes you feel loved. And the other part I was trying to explain to you earlier is that oftentimes we give what we need, not realizing, and it's in really good, like, you're thinking well of it. You're trying to do the right thing, right? But that's just the first level of love. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We all learned that in, when we're 5. Exactly. So, but the next level of love is do unto others as they would have you do unto them. So it's treat others the way they want to be treated, not the way that it's your bright idea to treat them. In order for you to do that, and we talked a little bit about this in your session, you have to learn each other. So what a healthy relationship is that you all are going to be getting to know your partner for the duration of the 50 years of the lifetime that you are together. And your partner will continue to change probably every 5 to 10 years. And as they change, you will allow them to change. You will not say, I'm going to love you the way that I loved you 10 years ago because that's what you needed then. You're going to need to keep needing that. No. You need to understand that everybody's going to change. You need to understand that it is a growing process, and that as you matriculate through the different stages of your relationship, the needs are going to change. And so constantly being in, and then this is the good part about it, constantly being aware of what your partner's needs are, that makes them more aware of what your needs are. It makes them want to be curious about, you know, if I'm respecting and honoring and pleasing my man, he wants to know, how do I cherish and adore and protect you and keep you safe?
Well, say they have a lot of the qualities and one of those are lacking. And so you feel like you kind of have, as a woman, you kind of have to dive into the masculine.
There is no. Never ever do that. Okay, so here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that.
I'm just saying, say that a man is
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to, but here's the reason why. The reason you don't want to go masculine with your man is because it's not going to bring out the best in him, and it's not going to bring out the best in you. So an example of that is, one of the ways that women end up in their masculine on like a first date is that at the end of the day, let's say he's like, you know, this was wonderful, I had a great time, do you mind if we go Dutch? And a woman will think, I make a lot of money, I'm on the same level as him financially, I'm educated, I fought for women's rights. He might even be the one saying all these things to you. Yeah, we're in modern times, you're a feminist, etc. Here's the problem. The moment that the two of you go Dutch, that is no longer romance, it is friendship. And for the rest of that relationship, you have set things up to where he is no longer in his natural masculine, hunting, pursuing, providing, protecting. And what's going to happen, you won't realize this until you're further down the line, because there's a lot of other things that will be going on with the euphoria, etc. But further down the line, that woman, I guarantee you, if she is a feminine woman at heart, is going to be questioning, does he really like me? I'm not sure if he's into me. Like, I don't know if we're on the same, like, what are we? Like, what's going on with that? She will not know, because it's not clear and definitive. What men don't understand, particularly on a first date, when they're saying, why can't we go 50-50 or why can't we go half up? You are establishing the kind of a relationship that she can expect out of you. You are establishing who you are going to be in her life, and you are showing her the way that you plan to show up in her life and to protect her or provide for her, etc. If you don't do that, then she doesn't know that you have it in you.
Well, say that is how it initially, something like, it initially starts off like that, right? And then, like I said, the male ends up having a hard season.
Yes.
So then, the woman has to feel like she has to step up to the thing. So now what happens?
Okay,
like, can she then therefore?
That's a wonderful question. You're absolutely right.
Can she then therefore show up?
You can absolutely help your man. That's a different situation. So see, first date, we're not together yet. We're getting to know each other.
Oh no, first date.
First date. It's like, that's what I'm saying. But it's the first few dates. Here's the thing with equality. It's not that a woman cannot reciprocate. You have to reciprocate. It's that initially he has to call, he has to reach out, he has to hunt you, he has to face rejection, not you. When you don't do that, you guys are turning everything around and you're stacking the deck in his favor, which a lot of men don't understand this because everything's been reversed, but their attraction for you will actually lower. They will say, when
a woman pays for things?
Yes.
Wait.
They will say, give to me, protect me, cherish me. Here's the rub. Wait, let me explain it. When you do, there is a consequence for it. Their attraction. Think of it this way. Oh, how do I do this? Okay, sperm, egg, right?
Yeah.
A woman, even better. A woman is a womb. A male is a phallus. A phallus is built to give pleasure, orgasm, seed. This is just natural, right? We're not built to give. We don't have one of these. We are a womb. We are built
to receive and to take in.
Exactly. Therefore, when you are operating in your natural, that's what it is. Now, a lot of men who have been taken advantage of by women will then say, well, that's like saying she's never supposed to give anything to me. That's not what I said. I said she should never take on the masculine role, which means she is the provider. Because just so you know, if I become the provider, I am now stepping on his toes. And
that's where there's a lot of resentment.
Exactly. There's resentment, but there is also, I'm challenging him. I'm going to start disrespecting him. Now he's not getting the love that he needs. And I don't feel safe. And I'm likely propping him up because I don't feel like I'm in my feminine either. The other thing that is crazy about this is, you know where that resentment comes from? You made me become a man.
Yeah.
I don't
and
want
you
to be
still
a
want the
man.
same treatment
That part too.
that as if you are giving in a particular, you're not though. So like you said, the respect factor goes out of the window
away.
when you're not showing up the way that you're supposed to show up. Because as a woman, that level of attraction, for at least for me, dwindles too.
Yeah.
When I feel like men are like, okay, 1 or 2 times, sir, but at this point,
and that's what I was going to say. So that's the balance. The balance is, and it's not equal. You never want to be equal with a man. Once you get into a relationship, your question was, it should be like this. So what that means is like, if he pays for, 3 or 4 dates, you can pay for 1. Never equal, never on the same level.
Okay.
You should always feel like you kind of owe him something. That's actually a good feeling. It's a very uncomfortable feeling for those of us who have been independent, for those of us who were raised masculine, because we think if he does something for me, I need to do something for him. No, that's competition. You don't do that. And that's equality. And equality dulls romance. It needs to be clear that someone is always pursuing another person. That's where the sperm and the egg come in.
Okay, you talked about the dating at the very beginning, the
Yes.
first few dates. Right?
Girl.
So if you're not in, this is what I used to do all the time, and I really stand by it, so I'm interested in knowing your thoughts on this.
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't do this, but when I would get into when I would meet a new person, I don't even believe in dating personally.
Okay.
Because I feel like the very first few times you see someone, they're only going to show you the best of them.
Of course.
I'd rather just be really good friends with you, get to know you, be around you a lot.
I do that too.
And
oh
it
my
works.
gosh. It
Because
does, because you can observe them like on the low.
And
Yep.
if you decide this is not what I want to be in, I would never, you get to still keep the friend instead of being. So because of that,
Wisdom.
from the beginning, we're going to go eat, I'm going to pay.
Okay.
On purpose. I am not because I'm trying to be masculine, but because I need you to understand what this is and isn't, and because I want you thinking that I'm expecting something, even if I like the person, even if I want to date you, and that's the intention for future, I still feel like I have to set that up. And I did that with my husband when I met him. He almost bit my head off. But the first time I met him, for real, he was so offended. He was so
That's
offended.
the sign of a healthy masculine man.
I love that. And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But he was, we were eating breakfast at the end. It was our first business, it was a business meeting. And I went to go pay, and he said, look, some of my closest friends don't even reach, so I appreciate the reach, but don't ever do it again. And I was like,
Great, thanks.
So, masculinity, shut it all down. And how attractive was that?
I did love it. I did love it.
See what I mean?
But so what do you think about the idea of, because you said don't let them, you should not pay. Because as soon as you do this, he has to
here's the other side of
or
this.
second or third.
No, right. Well, what she's saying is but there's a balance.
There is a balance.
But because it can't be equal.
Yeah, it can never be equal. It cannot be equal.
3,
if
then
it's
you do
equal,
1.
you wake up 10 years down the road and you're like, why do we feel like roommates? Why do I feel like this is a platonic relationship? Because there is no attraction. Because you guys are playing each other's roles and no one is staying in their lane. And as I said, the more masculine, you have a healthy masculine man. The more masculine he is, the more feminine you have to perfect being. Yeah.
There are times when I actually like doing for my partner as well. So that's why I understand what you mean by like, if I do it once, now I don't want to do it all the time.
Period.
It's
that's what I'm saying. When do you set this up? So look at both sides. April, you probably are not the person that's like, because you've learned to step in more into that femininity, whatever, where you're like, yes, you can pay for me. First date, second date, 8th date, keep paying for me. Right? I'll help you if you need it, but keep paying for me. And I'm saying, don't you dare. I got this because I'm not going home with you tonight. Don't expect nothing from me. Like, we're friends. Let's see where that goes.
But but with the right man, that's not what he's thinking. So here's the other side of that. If you are with a man and he is thinking, I am so into this girl and I've been waiting to take her out forever, and he finally gets you at the breakfast date and you ask to pay, that could signal to him that you're not interested in him.
Usually does.
That's what
But
I'm
that's
saying.
why I do it.
No,
I'm telling you that's my point.
I got you. I got
Just
you.
for that reason.
That's one way of doing things. I hear that. It could backfire. It didn't. I'm very glad that it didn't. But yeah, with the wrong one, it could backfire. So
I like that you said that. With the right one,
Yes.
he's not going to expect that you are going to go home with them.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not gonna-
Oh,
100%.
I'm just saying I have to do a better job because I think I do that like when I have met people, like
Yes.
naturally I just pull my card out so that the expectation is that like I want people to be comfortable. I guess it's a part of me where I'm like, I don't want you to think that I expected this, because then you hear the talks nowadays in modern times where it's like, yeah, she just expected I was going. And it's like, I don't want to hear that. So then I end up eventually going into my person, although like,
you
and
really
know,
didn't want to.
Yeah, but I mean, there's times when I do want to pay. There's times when I have not. Like if if it's like a first time thing, I'm gonna do it because I feel like I don't want a person to think that I'm expecting something. But come on, bruh. Like if you're
So
asking
here's
me
the
to go
thing.
eat and vibe, you should be definitely paying. It doesn't matter if I take out the car. I'm just testing to just see how much of a man you really are. I'm not attracted to that. I'm just naturally not.
I'm not going to set them up because I don't want to be set up. So, and I feel like it's testing, and it is testing, but like you said, since you're repulsed by the answer, which I am too, when I find out that he actually didn't want to pay for me or that he's going to allow me to pay for him, I just choose not to do that. So, and what I will say is, I'll follow a man's lead. Like I remember going on a date once where a guy was like, yeah, these girls are like just going out for like food, and they're just dating for dinners. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks, And he brought it up like 3 different times. Whenever a man tells you something 3 times, pay attention. And so now I'm on edge. But I'm also thinking that has nothing to do with me. That was them.
Yeah.
Well, that was his warm up so that when the check came, he was like, do you mind if we pay? Or excuse me, if we both pay? And I said, I absolutely do not mind. But what he didn't know was the moment he said that, every ounce of interest I had was gone. He called me for the next 3 weeks and nothing. I'm like, no, thank you. Because you said, for instance, that you were doing it because of an expectation.
Well, I don't want to
You
say
don't want
that.
people to feel like you're expecting something.
Yeah.
I do want men to think that I expect something of them. What I have learned from going low and going high is I prefer to go high, meaning men tend to perform up to the standard and the expectation that you have for them. So
if you go low, they're going to meet you low.
Absolutely.
That's my problem.
Absolutely. So get your standards up.
Low-hanging fruit.
Listen. And the worst thing that you could be with a guy is easy. You don't want to be easy. You want to be a challenge just in terms of like your standards. You don't want to be a challenge in terms of being difficult because people take that way too far. But you do want him to feel like in order to be with you, I need to step up and I need to show up and I need to, put my best foot forward. Why not? I'm putting my best foot forward. You're going to get the best when you get me. So I would like for you to meet me in that space.
I don't know what that is. I think because I never was like that. Like I didn't come into stuff with expectation, but I don't know if this is a thing because of like who I am in the industry and like when I have given normal people an opportunity, I don't want them to feel like obligation. And so there's a kindness in me.
I have to stop you.
Okay.
They have to feel obligated. They have to. It is you are in danger if a man, think about it this way. If a man does not feel obligated to you, a man then doesn't have to call. He can dip out. He can mistreat you. He can ghost you. He doesn't owe you an explanation. He's not obligated.
How do you make them obligated or feel obligated?
You show up in your feminine and you pay attention. You honor them. You respect them. You're loving. You're sweet. You're kind to everyone around you. So you allow him to, so operating feminine energy, you allow him to lead you and you do it with grace and with graciousness as a lady. And so that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing that we don't know. For a healthy masculine man, that's what he wants.
Okay.
Let me say this. We think what healthy masculine men want is what we want. Remember how I said we give what we need. This is why a lot of women show up and a guy is like, what are you bringing to the table? Red flag, by the way. But if he asks that and you're like, oh, I have a car, I have a house, I have $1 million in the bank, my credit score is an 800. That's all the stuff you want from a man.
Fair.
But you're presenting it to him because that's the stuff you need. That's not what he needs. So again, we don't value femininity. What he needs is everything he can't get from his boys. He can get all of that from his boys, or he can make it himself. What he needs from you is your softness, your femininity, the way that you talk to him. This is what I was saying. The way that you talk to your husband literally makes him remember, oh yeah, she's a girl. I can't talk to her like that. I can't treat her like that. I have to be softer. I have to be kinder. I have to be warmer.
Even when you don't see certain masculine characteristics and traits showing up.
This is the way you can bring those things out.
Okay, so yeah, okay.
So it's literally like one of the things, I have a voice that projects, right? I'm fit for TV. But if I'm loud with my partner, or let's just say he's getting loud, I will immediately, because he's hella masculine, I will immediately go soft. Immediately. Like if I was with my brothers, I grew up, like I said, you know, in a house full of brothers, I would go, rawr, I have to get in here with them and compete, right? No. With your man, he will go, if he goes high, I immediately go low. And he goes high and I go even lower.
How do you do that without sounding, and I actually mean this in tone,
yes,
without sounding condescending? Here's why I'm asking.
Because you're either
you're condescending. Yeah,
you be sarcastic though.
You just did.
I didn't ask you to give me my opinion there. Really? What I asked was, what the hell did I ask?
You said, how do you do that sincerely?
Because okay, so when my daughter was little, I took her, she was crying and screaming in church, and I needed to calm her down. So I got down to her level, and I was really quiet, and I said, baby, I can't hear. She's screaming. I can't understand what you're saying when you're yelling. So I have to talk to you like this, because what happened was, it would take her voice down.
Yeah.
I can't give you what you want if I can't hear you.
Yep.
Right? And so she would be like, huh? She couldn't hear me because she was yelling, so she had to come down. Okay, that's great.
Yes.
But when I talked to her, I spoke to her as a mom to a child.
Yes.
When I speak to my husband and he's heightened, I'm like, I understand you.
Okay, so let me...
Do you see how soft
Yes, I do, but can I...
Yeah, but it's your...
I was about to say, it's the story that you're telling yourself, and you do it all the time. You're condescending when you are in submission. So you're not in full submission because something inside of you is rising up like, I hate this so much. And I'm like, he can feel that. And so it's not working. It's not working.
You know what I think you should do? I just feel like, because just knowing you, maybe at that point, so you're not in a sarcastic space or frame of mind, you should say, you know, babe, give me a second. Let me kind of settle down in spirit and in energy and like circle back maybe to you in like 5 minutes, because I don't want to come from a place like, just breathe for a second. No, exactly. But I'm just saying, no, just
then
you breathe.
You
just breathe and then say, babe. Is that where you're not, babe? Do you, babe?
Right.
Babe? Like,
which is what I was saying to you also earlier, is that you take an authoritative tone, and that's not what it is. You can't. A house divided cannot stand. So you cannot be the leader and the follower. Mm-hmm. So if you are submitting and surrendering into feminine energy, you can't also be the authoritarian leader. And that's what you're having. You're having this, you have to let one side of you win. Let the girl win. And understand, this is the problem. You think when he wins, you lose. And that's why you've got that crunch. Yeah, but you're not losing, you're actually winning. And that's why I said it's your inner dialogue. If you change your inner dialogue to, this is getting me what I want, you'll actually like sink into that and go, okay. And the deep breath she's talking about will come out, and you can be like, okay, babe, what do you need from me?
Oh my gosh,
Instead of, okay, babe, what do you need?
We can totally go into this topic, guys, for a very, very long time, because there's so much, like there's so much to learn and unpack, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I know we don't have a whole lot of time. First of all, Danai, I'm so thankful for you.
Me too.
For being able to help us.
Thank you so much.
For work with us.
Yeah, for having me.
With us, and for helping me to realize all of the things I personally need to change.
I'm actually taking heed to those things. I'm just playing.
I know that you're wearing Fashion Nova. Did you say you were wearing Fashion Nova too?
You like my shirt?
I do. It's so cute.
It reminds me of you, actually. Some of the things that you wear. But yeah,
really I'm like, I like the femininity behind it.
Guys, go to Fashion Nova. We're plugging them one more time because they're amazing. Fashion Nova is amazing. Thank you for sponsoring us. Thank you for making sure we always have a fit and we're always comfy. Appreciate you. And everyone, listen, Guys, you know that our intention for Wounds in the Way is to help you heal as we're putting the work in to heal as well. So there's a whole lot of different topics that we can touch on to bring about healing. Please, please, please let us know what topics you want us to cut on. Let us know what that looks like for you. What areas do you know are wounds in your life? What are things from the past? What are triggers? What are traumas that you have gone through that you know that we need to bring to the forefront, acknowledge them, identify them, and then work towards healing, because we want to make sure that we are progressing into positivity. Let us know, drop it in the comments.
Wounds in the way.